Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward.
Hey guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a overall macro view of what I expect to happen next over the next few months. I was pretty wrong on my last assumption overall. I thought that Bitcoin was going to run harder, but I really neglected and I got caught up in the euphoria of the overall move. I neglected some key principles that I established before, and that just is a good reminder of what bull markets can do to your overall analysis and your overall feelings. So, um, if you want to get a better overall macro view of my ideas on Bitcoin, please check out the video I made yesterday. Otherwise, this will be kind of a overall idea of what I think will happen with the total market over the next few months. So as always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert. Do your own research. Okay, so where are we at with Bitcoin? Obviously, we see price form and accumulation base all throughout the summer of 2021, and now it is pulling back. I still believe that from a context standpoint, this is a bullish market structure on high time frame charts. It was almost inevitable that we were going to hit some sort of higher low. As you can see here, these lows established back in September, these lows are still intact. We did not hit a lower low, and it would have been very, very surprising if we went from 70 to 30K or whatever in one go. Um, but what I'm expecting overall is to see some sort of range and consolidation, something like this. Well, maybe more like this, where we come here, do some sort of squeeze, bounce, and then come back down. Another idea is just for it to just chop around for the next few weeks, lower high, and then come back down. So, I mean, really, what I expect this to see, what I expect this to look like, is similar to what we saw back in the run from July to September, where we'll chop around for a while, hit some sort of lower high, and at that point, I will be looking for where the low is set. For instance, a lower high is almost certainly it's almost inevitable. Like we're gonna hit some sort of lower high, chop around, hit some sort of lower high compared to the 70K area, and after that, if we hit a lower low, that's when I'm very bearish. Um, if we hit some sort of higher low, uh, then I am bullish. So like this is one scenario right here, higher low, and then continue. This is the scenario that I'm currently viewing, and the scenario that I'm currently of the opinion that we do. But if we if we take out the lows on 42K on high time frame charts after we make this lower high, then that's when I'm very scared. So for now, the overall bullish market structure still is intact to me, bearing some unforeseen circumstances in the macro environment, then I still believe that Bitcoin is bullish. So what do I view for the price action of Bitcoin over the next few weeks? I think that we just chop. I mean, after you see a big move down, similar to this, you'll notice that generally it takes a while for bottoms to form. Uh, Generally speaking, the bigger the move down, the more consolidation needed. Although that was not true in like March of 2020 during the COVID crash. That was like a V-shaped reversal, something that we have not seen. But typically speaking, whenever you see Bitcoin making big moves down, you'll see a long period of chop. It's what we saw back in May to August. I mean, all throughout uh, basically when you looked in previous points of Bitcoin's price history, like here's a big move down in September. You know, obviously the notorious 6K to 3K drop back in 2018 when I sold a lot of my Bitcoin. We saw like lots of consolidation there. So what I'm expecting here is for us to continue chopping anywhere from like I'm trying to bid 44K. I think that I'm hoping I get an entry to buy more Bitcoin, and I think we just consolidate for the next few weeks, form some sort of bottom, and then maybe like end of January, or I can't predict how long this will take, and then we'll start to move. We'll hit some sort of lower high. I don't know where the high will set at, 60K, 55K, wherever. Um, and then after where we see the low, that's when I'm going to decide like kind of what my next play is. But I will be de-risking on this lower high. That's the same plan I had during this um, summer of 2021 price action, where I had a plan where I was going to sell in the 50Ks, which I did. Um, I wish I just held a lot of my coins, but is what it is. I sold a lot at around 45 to 50K, and that was my plan. And the similar plan will be here. Now, if this is just like a total bear market, we should get some confirmation where the next low is set. But I'd be very surprised if we just go lower from here. Like if we don't hit like a lower high and we just go straight to 30 in the 30Ks, that is going to be very surprising to me. I don't predict that at all. I think that we chop around and then we make a higher low before new lows, if that's what we're going to do. If we just went to do new lows now, given how many people got liquidated and given how big of a move down this was, I would be very surprised. So those are my overall thoughts on Bitcoin. And I'll come back to this chart later on after we go through some other charts. So what happens to altcoins for right now? Well, altcoins, as you can see from a USD perspective, nearly all altcoins are pretty bearish. They have bearish market structures. They've all been dumping the last several weeks slash months. Here's Ren. This is like bearish market structure coming down. AXS, this is like coming all the way down. Um, Anything Ethereum DeFi is all down. There are some strong coins such as Matic, but Matic, we'll see what happens with that. The Metaverse coins, this is all coming down. Solana, this looks like shit. So everything is looking pretty bad in general. And what I'm expecting for altcoins is for them to hit some sort of long consolidation period. Um, as Bitcoin hits a range, I believe that altcoins will hit a short-term bounce, and many of them are in bearish market structures right now, but they should still hit a lower high. So this is a projection that I had for Solana, where I think that it should hit some sort of short-term relief around 150 or so and make some sort of lower high, and then I see one last shakeout um, before a long accumulation period. Now, I think that the accumulation period will happen for a few reasons. Number one, many of these coins need to reset after long bull runs. Number two, Bitcoin is not in a great environment right now where it is great for altcoins. Bitcoin generally needs to be in a bullish environment. And while I still believe that Bitcoin is in a bullish environment, um, my opinion is not shared by many other people. Like there's a lot of people that think that we're just done, and that's fine. It's everybody's entitled to their opinion, but um, in order for altcoins to all do well, everybody needs to be like on the same page, generally speaking, like euphoric. And that's when you see like these big pumps. It's like when everybody's like rich from Bitcoin, and you see rotations and like everybody's happy. Whereas right now, everybody is very cautious and just like risk averse. So this is kind of like my overall idea of what I expect for a lot of these altcoin charts. And altcoin charts are really going to look different chart by chart. But I believe that many of them are in bearish market structures. Like if you look at something like Algo, this is like probably going to keep going. Um, near here's a kind of like probably a lower high that's going to form, and then it's going to keep coming down. I mean, it doesn't matter what you choose. They're all like looking like pretty bad. So what I do expect is some sort of short-term relief, lower high bounce coming up, and then we'll see some sort of accumulation period. I like to often look at the dot chart back in this fall of 2020 area. This is really kind of what I'm expecting. DOT had a huge run back in the summer of 2020, and then it came all the way back down. And Bitcoin really moved very hard. And this is again what I'm expecting is when Bitcoin will range. Uh, I still believe that this will hit some sort of long accumulation period. So I believe many altcoins will hit a long accumulation. And this is especially true when I think that Bitcoin starts to really move. So as Bitcoin is choppy now forms a bottom, and then really starts to move hard, like I think that altcoins will mostly just chill. And this chart is similar to what I expect to happen in early 2021. I think that altcoins really just cool and hit a long accumulation period for like a few weeks to several months while Bitcoin runs. Now, for the overall timeline of this, like at first I thought that Bitcoin was maybe going to like end in like May or something, but because I'm still bullish and because Bitcoin hasn't truly had its strong bull run yet, I believe that Bitcoin, the overall timeline could be longer than we think. Maybe we see it like late summer or something like that by the time the bull run ends. But again, it's too hard to really tell with regards to all the macro stuff that's going on right now. So this is what I'm expecting for a lot of altcoins right now. Is, as I said, looking at the Solana chart is make some sort of lower high, big shakeout, accumulation, and then altcoins will moon once Bitcoin is done doing its thing. So I'm still expecting Bitcoin to hit like 100K, 150K, whatever it hits, and over my next few weeks, my plan is to accumulate ETH and Bitcoin. And I'll go into Ethereum in a little bit here, but this is like kind of my overall macro view of many altcoins right now. Is I believe that many of them, they are going to hit some sort of lower high, and then they're going to hit an accumulation period. So, um, something like DOT here will probably hit some sort of like lower high. Um, this area right here should be like a projected bounce, some sort of like lower high. People call for alt season. Big last shakeout, and then long accumulation period, followed by maybe a big move in the spring of 2021. Now, what happens with like Ethereum? ETH USD looks like a pretty decent chart in general. I mean, this chart to me still looks okay. It still looks better than Bitcoin personally. Uh, I believe that ETH USD looks pretty strong, and more importantly, the ETH BTC chart looks really excellent here. If you look on higher time frame charts, the ETH BTC chart still looks strong, and there's a few reasons why I think it looks strong. Number one, it hit a multi-year accumulation period, and now it's moving. It's got a bullish market structure since 2020, and more importantly, it has been accumulating since May of 2021. Like ETH BTC hasn't moved from its range if you look from this entire period, and it's been accumulating this entire time, in my opinion, accumulating. So when now it's finally starting to move, now again, I'm not exactly sure if this is quote unquote the move. Um, Volume should probably start pushing up higher, but I would not be surprised at all to see this go to like 0.5 point 1 or even 0.11. Both of those areas are kind of like the next area up, in my opinion. And if this happens, if you see ETH BTC go up, then I believe, as I said, altcoins will have a short-term pump. Um, and really, ETH should lead the market in the short term. I believe that ETH will kind of do pretty well while Bitcoin chops around. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see. So, all right, a little note here. So this is kind of like what I expect to see during this entire timeline. So here's Bitcoin. We see it kind of just chopping around, ranging. And then we'll see, because it's a ranging environment, that's usually an okay environment for ETH in general. Um, Altcoins obviously will have some sort of short-term high, lower high. And so while Bitcoin is ranging, I expect ETH BTC to go higher. And then once Bitcoin really starts to move strongly, so like right when Bitcoin is kind of like at its big move, when it's starting to kind of move strongly, that's when I expect ETH BTC to start coming back down. So if you're a really good rotator, what you can do is you could buy Ethereum right now if this is the move for ETH BTC, and then you can flip it to Bitcoin or at these key resistance levels, um, and buy Bitcoin at this time. And uh, when Bitcoin really starts to move, like at this point, that's when ETH BTC should come down to reset a little bit, and then and then ETH BTC just continues this range. And now, I don't think it's going to exactly happen this long. Like this is like September 22. That's like almost a year away. That's like a long fucking time. Um, this is just like the weekly chart. I don't think it's going to take this long. But crypto always moves faster than we always think. But this would be kind of an idea that you could take for ETH BTC. And ETH BTC was like the original kind of rotator like meme thing that this is one way I always used to like accumulate more profits is just by rotating from ETH to BTC. Um, but let's just see if this is like the true move. I mean, this seriously could just be like a fake out. Maybe it just comes back to the range. Maybe it just continues to chop around for a while. Like that's entirely possible. But if it can cleanly break above '09 or so or '08.5, then I think that there's a real chance that like 0.11 or 0.10 is next for ETH. So for BTC dominance, this is a good macro indicator for altcoins. It's not quite as good as it used to be. Before it used to be a lot more accurate for a lot of reasons. Number one, there weren't many dexes back in the day. Uh, Nowadays, like those dexes and the fact that anybody can print a token really dilutes a little bit of this Bitcoin dominance. However, it's still like a good macro view, in my opinion, of like the market. What I'm expecting over the next few weeks is really just some chop for altcoins. I don't really see altcoins truly moving. I could maybe see it coming back. I could see something scenario where altcoins have a lower high and they pump in the short term, so Bitcoin dominance goes down, and then kind of a key chop around, and then once Bitcoin starts to really move, that's when I think we see Bitcoin dominance go higher. Now, what is Bitcoin dominance? Bitcoin dominance is really just Bitcoin's share relative to the entire market cap. So, generally speaking, when if you really like altcoins, then you want Bitcoin dominance to go down. Um, it When Bitcoin dominance goes down, that means that your alt BTC pairs go up in value, meaning that your altcoins outperform Bitcoin. But generally speaking, altcoins will underperform Bitcoin as a whole. If you look at longer term time spans, like sure, like some uh, 2000th ranked shitcoin on CoinMarketCap will like have a much easier chance of like 5xing that versus Bitcoin um, during some parts of its life cycle. But if you look at like longer time horizons, then altcoins will usually underperform Bitcoin. Um, so that's kind of my overall idea for Bitcoin dominance. Is I believe that maybe it comes back down a little bit more when alt BTC or when altcoins hit like a lower high, and then we see like when Bitcoin really starts to move strongly, then I think that Bitcoin dominance will kind of come back a little bit higher. So those are kind of my overall thoughts on the market. What are my plans for altcoins? My plans for altcoins are to really go ahead and um, wait until we see some sort of accumulation cycle. So, we could see some sort of bleed down what we're currently seeing right now. And this is a chart of SNX back in the fall of 2020, where we saw kind of like this V-shaped reversal, followed by an accumulation period, and followed by like big mooning situation. Um, what I plan on doing is I plan on accumulating more alt ETH and BTC over the next few weeks, and I believe that altcoins are generally not coins that I'm really looking at in terms of active trades as of right now. If you want to do an active trade, then you can go ahead and scalp the 2 to 10% move. That's fine. But in terms of longer term investments, I probably won't have as many altcoins as I did before. Um, I will be looking to buy a lot of altcoins though when Bitcoin is moving very hard. So um, when Bitcoin is moving very hard, that's when I'm going to be really looking at a lot of alt BTC pairs, because I expect a lot of alt BTC pairs to just continue dumping when Bitcoin does pretty poorly. Like if you look at the market structure on any of the alt BTC pairs, um, they're just like really, really, really fucking bad for a lot of them. Uh, so like I expect like Cosmos is a decent one, but I still expect it to come lower. Like literally, if you just look at like pretty much most any like alt BTC chart, they're just like really terrible. These are a lot of these old coins on Binance too. Um, Even AVAX will come back down, in my opinion, like strong coins. And I haven't updated this list in a long time either, so you'll see a lot of like kind of pump and dumps. But yeah, a lot of alt BTC charts just look kind of terrible, and so like I'm expecting this to keep going lower for the most part. So my plan right now is to go ahead and accumulate um, Ethereum and Bitcoin over this range here, and then I will flip a lot of my Ethereum. If ETH BTC continues to run hard, I'll flip it as it goes higher up to 0.1 to Bitcoin, and I'll watch Bitcoin go really strongly as Bitcoin moves up to kind of like 100K or whatever the target is. And I'm going to really stay off altcoins for the most part, unless I'm just trying to take some active scalping trades. And then when alt BTC is down in the dumps, that's when I'll start to buy a lot of altcoins. Now, as I said, I do expect altcoins to have a short-term bounce here, and that should be pretty good for a lot of you guys to de-risk. Um, like if you guys are overly exposed to altcoins, it might not be a bad time to start taking profits around that time. Look for, as I said, this kind of Solana idea that I have. This is like what I'm expecting, some sort of like lower high to be formed. I don't know where it's going to be. That is going to be a good opportunity for you guys to go and buy some, like, take some profits, go into cash, whatever, go into Bitcoin, whatever you want to accumulate. So yeah, those are my overall macro views of the market over the next few weeks and months. Let's see what happens. Thanks guys for watching, and let me know your thoughts.